Auburn gets a big 74-69 win over the Houston Cougars. Let's talk about it on this edition of the Uptempo podcast. Yes, sir. War Eagle, Auburn family, Dustin Smith and Blake Lane back with the latest edition of the Uptempo podcast. Y'all know what we're here to talk about, man. Auburn pulled out a clutch victory on a Saturday, Blake. Now, we had to go to the hardwood to do it, but damn it, we did it, man. All kind of talk before the game about a little bit of controversy that took place the Friday on the flight over. But ultimately, man, our Tigers dig deep, get a clutch victory over a top 5 team. Me and you talked earlier in the week about how a close loss would be okay as far as building your resume, the way the committee views these kind of games. But instead, we pulled out a close win. So that one goes even further, man. What were your thoughts about last night, Blake?
I'll start Friday with the plane incident. And, it breaks out on social media that Auburn has to turn the plane around and go back to Auburn and land, and then they have to take 2 separate planes and they arrive late and all this stuff. Well, what I'm going to say is you don't turn a plane around for horseplay. All right. You don't turn a plane around for guys being guys. I don't care who the pilot was. Something happened on that plane. And I think after last night, we kind of saw, Dylan said, hey, what do you expect when you lock a bunch of dogs up in a plane? All right. Something happened. And then you start seeing people posting the Ja'Kai Howard body language tweets. That clip, it spread through social media like wildfire. I don't know exactly what happened because I wasn't there, but I'll say this. I think a young buck was carrying himself in a way he probably shouldn't have been carrying himself, and he got checked. And that's what happened, in my opinion. He got checked by a veteran, a guy that was trying to be a leader and stand up for his teammates. And so I think it was a good thing that it happened. Not the fighting, but right. The checking and saying, hey, look, if this is going to be a part of this team, we can't do this anymore. And I think it fired these guys up. Said, hey, we got to go through this BS. We get to Houston late. Everybody's already saying that we're going to lose. The line jumped up. They don't believe in us. They don't believe in us. And I think you got a fired up Auburn basketball team last night. And then I'll talk about my biggest thing with the game. Y'all, Auburn basketball hit free throws down the stretch last night to win a basketball game. Times are changing. We hit free throws in the clutch. I'll tell you another thing. A true freshman hit free throws in the clutch. You're up 3. You get fouled. You go to the line. You drain 2. Nothing but nylon. All right? It wasn't hitting front rim and rolling around and, it goes home. No, it was nothing but nylon. A true freshman. Bang. CBM. Stayed in foul trouble the whole game. Got it going. Went to the line. We needed 2. CBM. Bang. There's something different about this team. Loved the defensive effort last night. Had some guys get in foul trouble. Had some guys playing hard. Offensively, got it going in the second half. Shot it pretty dang good in the second half, Dustin.
Yeah, 57%.
I'll tell you this. I'm very pleased in this Auburn basketball team about not turning the ball over. Especially in crunch time too. It feels completely different from last year where you had a couple guys that were careless with the ball late in games. We lost a couple games last year because we turned the ball over with under a minute left in a tight situation. There's shooters on this team, Dustin. There's guys that, Miles Kelly went off in game one. Tahad kind of struggled. Well, what was the situation last night? Denver Jones, he didn't have his shot last night. Miles Kelly kind of struggled a little bit. And then who picked up the slack? Tahad Pettiford come on in the second half and was just absolutely killing, man. So there's just options on this team. And that's what I was telling Ike the other night is you don't have to sit there and hope and pray that Trey Donaldson has to come off the bench and just magically light it up one night.
Right.
You have 3 to 4 options on this team where you're like, hey man, not only can Jonai go get us 20, but then you've got CBM can go get you 20. You got Denver, you got Tahad, you got Miles Kelly. Hell, we can even go down low and talk about the evolution of Chaney in his game. I wish he would have flushed that dunk home last night, but he has gotten 10 times better than when he got to Auburn. I mean, a guy that started in Division II, and he's showing you that he belongs in this league. He belongs in Division I Power 4 basketball. Hell of a job by Bruce to keep his guys focused too. Especially, I think you had a good text when we were talking about the plane incident. Good Morning America had Auburn on set. First thing, it was like, oh, Auburn plane turns around, and you're all across the nation. Great job for Bruce Pearl to get his guys focused in, to understand what kind of atmosphere they were about to walk into. And shout out to the Auburn fans for going out to Houston, man. The way to show up and show out. It looked like an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, we heard them. We heard y'all loud and clear through the TV. When I'll just real quick on the plane thing, I'll say this for the two guys that didn't make the trip. You just found out like you're not needed like that. Like we went and got a dub versus a top 5 team. So you need to get your stuff together if you want to be a part of it, especially Howard. Because like you said, that clip, if you don't know what we're talking about, it was a clip that went super viral on social media of Howard looking dejected in the win over Vermont every time we scored and he didn't get the ball. And if you kind of followed his recruiting process, those concerns existed. Apparently, there's a show out there on like Amazon Prime that followed his AAU team, and there's a whole lot of that. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen a lot of traction going around about that. And I do remember as we were recruiting him, reading and hearing like, hey, this, there's some stuff here. So yeah, he needs to get it together, or he won't be on the team. It's really that simple. Because this team does have depth, and I know that Bruce likes to play 10, 11 guys if he can. I kind of liked it shortened up last night. Yeah. It seemed like some of the guys that needed to get more minutes got those minutes. And when you're in that kind of game versus that kind of team, you need your best player to be himself. Mm-hmm. And number 4 took over with about 10 minutes to go in the game. We decided, hey, we're going right here. There was a timeout. I want to say we're like 6 minutes to go. I could be off a little bit on that. And from that point forward, we just fed Janai, and Tahad did his thing. So I'm pretty sure Bruce made the decision in that timeout. We're going to the big fella because they can't stop him. And then Houston's coach in the post game, he said, we know Janai is going to get 20. He said, like, we just know that. When the freshman comes in and gives you 21, then it's hard to contain it.
How about the chemistry between Tahad and Janai?
Yeah,
I like it, man. I really do. I was super impressed with Tahad and the ball handling. We had one dude last night say he was the handle god. He's legit, man. He makes all the right passes, and Janai Broom is an absolute dog, y'all.
Yes,
just that dude that he's going to bring it for Auburn. Every single night they step on the court. Damn proud of these kids, man. Damn proud of the effort. And it was a hell of a fun basketball game to watch in early November when that should be played in the middle of March. Damn good basketball.
Yeah, no, it was. And a night where there was some good college football on. Like that was probably some of the more entertaining sports that went
Yep.
on. Let's take a look at the box score, Blake. Houston shoots 41.4% from the field. Auburn shoots 52.9. If you would have told me before the game that Auburn was going to shoot 52.9 and then 12 turnovers, like versus Houston, I'd say, hey, we're definitely in this ball game.
Mm-hmm.
13 of 19 from the free throw line. It was bad in the first half. Me and you were both shooting out tweets like, brother, for the love of God, we can't lose this thing at the line. But we made our last 7. Like when we made our last 7 free throws in a game that we won by 5 points. I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything right there. 33 rebounds, and you were down. You were down 2 forwards. 33 rebounds there, 33 rebounds. So you evened that out on the boards. Got them on the defensive glass 22-18. Moved the ball well, 14 assists. The way Houston plays defense and defends the ball screens, you're going to have to make that extra pass in the half court. And I thought that coming out of that trap, you pass to the one guy, and then a lot of times we'd pass to the big kind of at the free throw line. We would have a guy cutting off from the wing. Brilliant design by Bruce. Really kind of attack what Houston did defensively. I love the way that we played unselfish ball and made that extra pass. And then 6 steals, getting in the 10 turnovers. The fouls are pretty even there, 21-20. So, we only shot 30% from the three-point line, but you just kind of expect that in a game versus Houston. Really, Janai working them down low and taking a look at Janai's night, man. He was 10 for 15 from the field, 0 for 4 from the three-point line. Hey, buddy, let's come inside a little bit. Every now and then, I don't mind Janai shooting a couple of games stretching the floor, but he was forcing those. Like, if they're in the flow, then Janai shoot them. But some of those were just forced, man. Then the 9 rebounds, 5 blocks, dominating down low, doing his thing, 20 points. And the story of the night, obviously, is Tahad Pettiford, the true freshman, going 7 of 12, 5 for 8 from the three-point line, 21 points. And to your point, Blake, about depth and about options, when I look and I say, okay, CBM had 7, Denver Jones only had 4. Miles Kelly, the guy who went off in the first game, he only has 5.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden, Pettiford goes off. And I want to give a shout out to our guy, Chris Moore, because 1 for 2 from the field, only 2 points. But man, he does all the little things. And this box score here does not reflect that. But those were a solid 16 minutes when we had to have a solid 16 minutes. He just kind of has that calming effect when things get out of hand. And so I got to give him some credit, man. There's really a big, efficient 16 minutes where he just was a calming effect on the floor. We needed that from Simo.
So, Dustin, the other night, I was on Twitter, and I scrolled past this tweet, and it was like, why is Simo still on this team? Why does he get minutes? Simo's terrible. All right. Y'all, we know Simo's never going to play in the NBA. Okay. We know Simo's not going to go out and get 23 minutes a night. All right. We know Simo's not going to go out and drop 30 or drop 15 or drop even 10. We know that. He's been here at Auburn long enough for the stats and the history to tell you that. But what Simo does do for Auburn basketball is he's a hell of a hustle guy. He's going to bust his ass out there on that hardwood. He's going to die for 50-50 balls. That's the difference between winning and losing sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And he's going to come up with a big ass block in crunch time. He had a hell of a block last night. If you don't remember the little things about Chris Moore, he's a damn good player, man. He's just not one of those dudes that's going to go to the next level. And that's fine. That's okay. Those dudes are 1%ers. But to sit here and say, oh, why is Chris Moore still on this team? We're not asking Chris Moore to be the focal point of this team.
Right.
We're asking Chris Moore, hey, brother, look, we're in some foul trouble right now. We're short on depth. Simo, we need you to go in there and plug some minutes, brother, and play your ass off on the defensive end. And that's what he does. What is wrong with Chris Moore doing that? I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. I think he does his job. He knows his role. And you're never going to see the body language of Chris Moore like you did Ja'Kai Howard.
Right.
You're never going to see that body language, ever. because guess what? He wants to see his teammates go off and him do all the dirty work. Hey, I'll get down here in the paint, I'll grind, I'll do all the dirty work, and then I'll kick it to you to let you get the flash, to let you get the points. Love SEMO, man. I'm tired of seeing the disrespect on Twitter and these Auburn fans. You gotta love SEMO, man. He's just one of those bruisers down low where he's undersized. He's gonna get in the paint and he's gonna get it done.
Yeah, you're going to need him. You're going to need him, like you said. You're going to get into foul trouble. Injuries happen, that kind of thing. And that's a guy that understands the system. You know what to expect. And he's going to play clean. He's not going to come out here and try to play outside of his game. He's not going to play outside of his element. He's going to take his opportunities when they come to him, and he's going to give you 100% effort on the defensive end. And yeah, it was fun watching these two head coaches go at each other. From a tactical standpoint last night. It was really fun basketball to watch. I want to get to some of these comments before we get out of here, Blake. Is SEMO Chris Moore? Yeah, SEMO's Chris Moore. Yeah. Brett says SEMO has the uncanny ability to get to a key rebound or a block or steal sometimes a crucial bucket. He kind of, I don't know how many old heads in here remember James Posey. He won a championship with the Heat. Played a while for the Hornets. He kind of played. I think he was on a Mavericks team that maybe won a championship. I know he was on the Mavericks for a little bit, but yeah, there's those guys, man, that they just pop up at the right time and make the clutch plays. Brett again says Tahad did not look like a freshman. He did not, man. Big atmosphere, NBA arena packed, pretty much a road game. Auburn fans did show up, but yeah, that's a big moment, man. Janai couldn't have done it by himself. And I told Blake this before we recorded. Tahad brings a level of explosiveness that we haven't had at point guard since Jared Harper. Just pure explosiveness of just quick step ability to get to the basket and step back and create that three ball. I'm really excited, and we know Blake's preached it from the mountaintop since we've been doing the podcast. Need guards that are at least 6 feet and can create their own shot in March.
Yep.
And yeah, Tahad is definitely. And Blake, do you think he's going to take over that starting point guard role here pretty quick?
Probably, but I don't know. I don't know what Bruce wants to do, because I feel like, man, you got a guy in Pegues that he's not going to turn the ball over. He's a veteran guy. He's played in big games. He doesn't give you the same threat scoring, but that bench rotation is clicking right now. So I don't know if Bruce wants to really flirt with that. I'm sure when we get into SEC play, you'll see some different looks. But, man, it's hard to keep Tahad on the bench, Dustin. Like, bro he's unreal. Enjoy the 1 year that you get with him, because he's going to the NBA draft if it keeps up like this. Kid was incredible last night.
Yeah, and we need that. We need that from a recruiting standpoint. We need to have one of these guards, these McDonald's freshman All-American guards hit and go after 1 year, so we can kind of keep selling that with Aiden being the bust that he was. Thomas says, Blake, that hat is fire.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. J&M Bookstore.
Yeah. Well, J&M, they've been there a long time for a reason. Houston fully thought they had the win, but inside that last 5 minutes, their body language changed into slight panic mode. Love that. This Thomas felt really good because we all remember that Auburn won a whole bunch of blowouts last year. Mm-hmm. And over the past couple of years, it seems like inside 4 minutes, Auburn's kind of struggled to close out a lot of close games, especially away from Neville. Mm-hmm. In a tough atmosphere, a true freshman making the big plays, and then Janai, obviously letting you know, hey, you can depend on me to come through in the clutch. Just whenever we needed to stop, and we had to get the rebound. We got the rebound. We made our last 7 free throws. We protected the basketball well inside the last 5 minutes of the game. Poor Houston, just trying to inbound the ball. Bruce just gave him hell, man.
Hey, do we just not call 5 seconds anymore?
Bro, they did not know how to count to 5. They forgot how to count to 5. Straight up.
Hey, look, it's 1,000, 2 1,000. Now, look, this is how Buddy was counting last night. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1. I'm like, hey, brother, speed it up, bro. Like, come
Yeah.
on. It's 1 1,000,
Yeah.
2 1,000.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like, I mean, hey, and the sideline was letting him know. They're like, brother, 5 seconds, like blow the whistle. I counted 4 of them that we let go. Insane stuff. And you know, there was one part late in the first half of the game. This is the only thing I'll say about officiating, but it got a little ticky tack late in the first half when Houston made their little run to close out the first half. I feel like there was some cheesy stuff called on Auburn. And it was kind of getting to a point where it was getting called on Auburn and it wasn't getting called on Houston. Uh, they got out of their element a little bit and they stopped calling it both ways. And then it got better in the second half. But for that short little 8-minute stretch there in the first half, there was some questionable officiating that went on. I saw Janai get grabbed and somehow he got called for the foul. When he got grabbed, they both go to the floor and Janai gets called for the foul. I said, hey, what world are we living in where that's a foul on Janai? I felt like CBM picked up a cheesy one that really wasn't a foul. They cleaned it up though. They ended the game being okay, but
They
there
missed
was some
about 4
question.
travels too. They missed
That's
about
a
4
fact.
travels where Houston was just dragging their foot,
That's a
and
fact.
it was like, man, they would try to stop and they would drag their foot for like 2 feet, and so I'm thinking,
Hey,
okay. I
old
texted my
buddy,
dad in the middle of the game, and I was like, hey, these refs don't know how to count to 5. Like, I don't think they can do it. Like,
old buddy, he even pointed to the pivot foot one time. He was like, "It stayed down," and I'm like, "Brother, that like he walked, man. Like
yeah,
even Bruce, like the whole bench stood up and was like, "Hey, he walked," and he's like, "No, it stayed down," and I was just like, "Whatever, man. They're not gonna." Look, it was in Houston. I get it, neutral site game, but we're your daddy, and we took it to you. So I guess it's one. They won in Birmingham. We won in Houston. It's all good. Tied up.
yeah. Brett says Brett says Chaney looked good last night. Chaney's going to be important, man. We've depended on Jalen Williams to hold down that power forward spot for a long time. So Chaney's going to have to be that guy to he's going to have to play consistent. He's going to have to give us what he gave us last night. I know that the missed dunk was bad, but other than that, man, he played hard, and he's really improved on the defensive end. And if he can just give us around 8 to 10 on average on the offensive end, I think we'll be okay. And just play nice, clean, and efficient. Stay out of foul trouble, because I'm not sure what our depth is going to be at that 4 position.
That is one thing I'm worried about. But I'll tell you this: over the last couple of years, we have struggled on the glass, Dustin. And we went in. This is probably going to fly under the radar a lot, but we went into Houston, a team that will be in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four conversation. They are every year. Kelvin Sampson's a Hall of Fame coach. We went in and we battled on the glass. We were right there with Houston on the glass. There was a couple times where we gave up second and third chance opportunities. But for the most part, that's how you beat a team like Houston is you limit them. They're not great offensively. So you limit their opportunities. And you did that last night by fighting for boards on the glass. I was very impressed with the Auburn Tigers down in the paint on the low block, man. They got in there and they battled, and they got the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you were down 2 forwards, right? Like, that was my thing. I was like, man, are we gonna, if we get into foul trouble now with Jakai, but hey, 33-33 on the rebound battle. We did our thing. We got in there and grinded with them. So yeah, I'm just really impressed, Blake, with the effort. Obviously, you face adversity, and here's just a little thing to think about overall for Auburn athletics. You're on Good Morning America. Another stupid headline. Me and Blake are texting back and forth. Here we go with the Java shit.
Yep.
And if you lose the game, what's the headline? You get in a fight Then you have to turn the plane around. Then you go lose, and it would have been just another goofy Auburn story. Boy, doesn't win and fix everything.
Yep.
Doesn't win and fix everything. All of a sudden it goes away. It goes away, and you just got a win over a top 5 team, and it all just works itself out. It's crazy. It's crazy, Blake, how a W, it's almost like the scoreboard matters. It's almost like you play the game to win the game. Isn't that wild how that works out, brother?
I'll tell you this. The last thing I'll say is if you were on that side of the plane, if you were on the side where you wanted to blow this thing up and you wanted to send it out of proportion and you wanted to bring all this attention to Auburn basketball, stay on that side. We don't want you over here. All right. We don't want you to come trickling back, because I saw a lot of tweets last night. Oh my God, Auburn basketball. What a dominating performance. No. You stay on that side, dog. You stay on that side. We don't want you coming back over here. I don't want to hear that. You were pushing that plane incident and you were running it into the ground. And then when we go wax Houston's ass in Houston, you want to flip back and say, oh man, that number 11 beside their name, that really ain't who they are. That's disrespectful. No, you stay on that plane incident and you keep shoving that plane incident and you keep pushing it, because last night we shoved it up your candy ass. All right. And we showed you what we were about.
Let's go.
That's what I'll end it on, Dustin.
I can't say, I couldn't say it any better myself, brother. Pete passed a good analogy with the Posey. Yeah, that's who he reminds me of, man. Posey always just made that one clutch play, would take the charge, would get the loose ball. Simo does the same thing. Madison showing Simo some love, saying he is a living and breathing representation of being hungry versus being ready to eat. Absolutely. I love watching him play basketball. If we're going to make a long tournament run, he's going to have to be a guy that gives us crucial minutes, even if it's 8-9 minutes sometimes. Like those 8-9 minutes got to be clean. Fire Freeze with the gifted 5 up-tempo memberships. We appreciate you, big dog. So a little behind the scenes for you guys. I recorded something for the members this morning. I also recorded something for the Just a Sec pod, and we were about 30 minutes late because Blake couldn't hear me, and I had to delve deep into my microphone settings. And yeah, my cat had stepped on the laptop earlier this morning, and he had disconnected the microphone from being able to connect into the computer and this whole deal. So I'm gonna have to re-record the member pod for you guys, but we'll have it up for you guys tomorrow, because I went back and looked at it, and you just see me talking and you can't hear me. So unless you guys just want to watch me, which I don't think you do. I don't think you do. So, but yeah, so got some more membership, got some watch the film on the basketball team coming up for you guys Monday or Tuesday. I'll get that re-recorded this afternoon. I got to go handle some stuff, but appreciate you, Fire Freeze, for doing that for us, man. Gift these memberships out. You've been in here and been supporting us, guys. Come back Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the football team. Hugh Freeze will give his press conference tomorrow. There's some noise about maybe a quarterback change. You're hearing some stuff about these young guys starting to get more reps and kind of playing for the future now that we're sitting here at 3-6. ULM is not looking good all of a sudden. They've lost 3 games in a row. So this is an opportunity if you are Hugh Freeze and you're going to try to get maybe a Walker White out there, or, go back to Hank Brown, that whole situation there. Blake, you better start feeding guys like Jeremiah Cobb and Perry Thompson if you want them to come back. So you got 3 games left. We got a lot of stuff to talk about over there on that end. So come back here Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, and that's what we're going to do, Blake.
That's it, baby. Hey, War Damn Eagle. Another big week of basketball, football. So a lot of content coming out. We're excited here. Love y'all, War Damn Eagle, man.
Yes, sir, War Eagle. We'll see y'all Tuesday night.